Have you ever dreamed of exploring the world, of stepping off a plane into a new country, full of hope, excitement, and ambition, only to be met not with smiles but cold stares, with suspicion, side glances, and silence? For millions of Indians traveling, studying, or working abroad, this is more than a nightmare. It's reality. Welcome back to Epoch Escapes, where we dive beneath the surface of the world's most talked about destinations. In today's video, we're confronting a harsh and often hidden truth. 10 countries where Indians face systemic discrimination. This isn't about shaming nations or stirring division. It's about awareness. It's about giving voice to the voiceless. If you believe these stories need to be told, hit that like button, subscribe, and leave your voice in the comments below. Let's begin this eye-opening journey with number 10. Number 10, France. France, the land of croissants, art, and liberté. But for many Indians, that liberty stops at the passport control gate. France has a long history of philosophical ideals, equality, freedom, human rights. Yet, many Indians here find themselves treated as second-class citizens. In cities like Paris, Lyon, and Marseille, microaggressions are commonplace. A delayed service at a restaurant, a landlord who suddenly changes their mind, a job interview that ends the moment your accent reveals your heritage. Take the case of Arav, an Indian tech entrepreneur in Paris. Despite his startup receiving European funding, he was repeatedly told he'd be better suited working in logistics or food delivery. Why? Because the stereotype in France paints Indians as manual workers, not innovators. The root of this lies deep within France's post-colonial identity crisis. Though it prides itself on secularism, the French model often demands full assimilation. Act French, look French, sound French. But what happens when you don't? A survey by the French Institute of Public Opinion found that 1 in 4 foreigners, many of them Indians, reported experiencing regular discrimination in public life. In a land that gave the world the Enlightenment, the shadows still linger. Number 9, Germany. Germany has rebuilt itself from the ashes of war into a tech and economic powerhouse. But in this land of engineering marvels, Indians are often reduced to a social equation. Foreign plus brown equals outsider. Germany actively recruits skilled labor from India, especially in IT and medicine. But what starts as a welcome turns sour once reality hits the streets. Racist remarks on public transport, reluctance from locals to rent apartments, or being asked, "Do you really belong here?" A particularly haunting case surfaced in Berlin, where an Indian student was stalked and verbally assaulted for speaking Hindi on a tram. Despite integration policies and public campaigns, hate crimes have increased by over 15% in 5 years, especially targeting non-European immigrants. The contradiction is sharp. A country that needs foreign talent, yet struggles to accept their presence. Number 8, United Kingdom. You might think the UK, with its vast Indian diaspora, would be immune to racism. After all, Indians are doctors, engineers, business leaders, and even members of parliament here. But don't be fooled. Behind the polite smiles and British accents is a country still haunted by its colonial past. Many British Indians report feeling like they're only conditionally accepted. You're welcome, as long as you don't challenge the status quo. One viral incident in London involved a young Indian woman being spat on and called a pig during her morning commute. Cameras caught everything. The backlash was immediate, but the damage was done. A 2022 report found that 35% of Indians in the UK have experienced workplace discrimination. From being passed over for promotions to being subtly excluded from office cliques. Yes, Britain is diverse, but beneath the surface, systemic bias continues to ripple through generations. Number 7, Italy. Italy, a land of art, wine, and romance, and increasingly racial division. Most Indians here work in agriculture, construction, or low-wage factory jobs. They are essential to the Italian economy, yet they remain invisible, underpaid, and often unwelcome. In Milan, an entire apartment block refused to rent to a group of Indian factory workers. Why? Because the landlord feared they'd change the culture of the neighborhood. The Italian press rarely portrays Indians as contributors. Instead, they're often shown as unassimilated, rural, or burdensome. Discrimination here isn't always loud. It's the slow burn, the glances, the gossip, the opportunities denied. A recent government report revealed a 20% spike in racial discrimination cases in the last decade, disproportionately affecting South Asians. Italy may be famous for passion, but that passion doesn't always extend to inclusion. Number 6. Australia. Australia markets itself as the land of beaches, opportunity, and top-notch universities. But for many Indian students, the reality is a harsh contrast. Physical assaults, verbal abuse, even threats in broad daylight. In one disturbing case, a video surfaced of Indian students being chased through the streets of Melbourne, laughed at, cursed at, and cornered. It sparked outrage, but also revealed a deeper issue. Nearly 4 in 10 Indian students say they feel unsafe in Australia at some point during their stay. Not because of the land, but because of the people. Racist graffiti, xenophobic job listings, being told go back to where you came from in a supermarket. These are not isolated events. They are daily life. Australia faces a choice: embrace its growing diversity, or let prejudice win. Number 5. United Arab Emirates. The UAE boasts record-breaking skyscrapers, luxury brands, and an endless hunger for progress. But beneath its glitz lies a caste system hiding in plain sight. Indians make up over 30% of the population here. They build the roads, clean the malls, serve the food, and yet many live in squalor, denied basic rights and human dignity. Workers are bound by the kafala system, a sponsorship mechanism that gives employers godlike control. Passports are withheld, wages are delayed, complaints are silenced. Some Indian domestic workers have reported 16-hour shifts, physical abuse, and being forced to sleep in closets. And if they speak out, deportation or worse. Even educated professionals face bias. Too dark for the front desk, too foreign for management. In the UAE, money may talk, but for many Indians, justice doesn't listen. Number 4. Malaysia. On paper, Malaysia is a multicultural wonderland. In reality, it's a nation deeply divided by race-based policies. Ethnic Malays benefit from Bumiputera laws, granting them privileged access to jobs, education, and housing. Indians, many of whom are citizens, are often sidelined. A staggering 30% of Malaysian Indians report being turned away from job interviews once their ethnicity is revealed. In schools, they face lower quotas. In housing, higher rent. The division is historic. Indians were brought to Malaysia under British colonial rule to work plantations and build railways. Today, their descendants are still fighting for equal footing. A Tamil teacher in Kuala Lumpur summed it up best: "We're accepted but never embraced." Number 3. Singapore. Singapore is hailed as a beacon of efficiency and harmony, but behind the gleaming skyline lies a more uncomfortable truth. Indians are one of Singapore's major ethnic groups, yet stereotypes remain stubborn. The noisy Indian, the overly aggressive manager, the bad tenant. In elite institutions and corporate towers, many Indians report having to tone down their identity just to fit in. A local study found 25% of Indians experience racial slurs or career roadblocks. Despite Singapore's strict laws on equality, the pressure to be less Indian is rarely spoken but often felt. Singapore thrives on precision, but inclusion is one area where it still needs fine-tuning. Number 2. South Korea. South Korea is one of Asia's cultural and technological superpowers, but its social fabric is still largely homogeneous, and that's where problems arise. Indians working in engineering, academia, and business often feel like outsiders, not because of performance, but because of appearance and accent. Language barriers amplify the problem. So does a culture that subtly favors Koreanness as the ideal. Some Indian professionals report being stared at on the subway, avoided in restaurants, or ignored in meetings. It's not open hostility, but it is exclusion. Despite efforts to promote multiculturalism, integration remains shallow. As one Indian expat put it, "You're welcome to contribute. Just don't expect to belong." Number 1. Spain. Spain is known for flamenco, food, and friendliness. But when it comes to immigrants, especially Indians, there's a different rhythm playing in the background. Indians are a growing community here, running businesses, studying, and working hard. But subtle discrimination is widespread. Landlords hesitate, employers sidestep, strangers stare. A professional in Madrid shared how she was repeatedly asked, "Are you sure you belong in this office?" Despite holding a Spanish degree and fluency in the language. In smaller towns, xenophobia is more open. "We don't rent to foreigners." "You don't fit in here." These are phrases Indians hear too often. Even though Spain has inclusive laws, enforcement is weak. Discrimination hides in loopholes and smiles. But Indians here aren't silent. Cultural festivals, community events, and grassroots activism are slowly changing perceptions. It's a long road, but one worth walking. And there you have it. 10 countries where Indians, despite their talent, resilience, and contributions, continue to face discrimination. But here's the thing. This isn't just about pointing fingers. It's about challenging a global mindset. It's about saying, we see it, we name it, and we will not ignore it. If any part of this video resonated with you, or if you have your own story to share, drop it in the comments. Let's create a space where experiences matter and change begins. Like this video, share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Epoch Escapes for more eye-opening stories from around the world. Because travel isn't just about places, it's about people. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. Stay informed. See you in the next one.